Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Investors Coffee Time. Yep, we have Indra Mukmin. Hi, good evening. Min Pang. Hi, good evening. Arul. Good evening. Adil. Cassandra. Hello. Daniel too. Hello. Suba. Good evening. Good evening. Colin. Good evening to you. Right. Good evening.
Hello, everybody.
YFCO.
Good evening.
Hi, Roslan. Welcome everybody to our Investors Coffee Time at 8 p.m. Today we actually have a special session on how we use market indicators to see whether the market still has leg to move or not. Right? I think everybody's asking the question right now: is the market going up? Is the market going down? Or is it too late to buy? Or maybe it's time to sell? Right? So one of the things that we have actually put into our Genius app is called a 52-week timing indicator, which Alvin is going to introduce in a short while. And later we're going to show you how you can use it. All right, because this is one of the tools that are available in the most sophisticated markets like in the US and so on and so forth. But I guess this is the first time that we're going to have it right here on Equity Tracker's platform, right? Only for you guys. So hopefully that you are able to use this, right? And we're going to share with you how we're going to use this later on. And hopefully it can guide you and also give you a certain perspective of where the market is heading. Right? So I'm just going to let Alvin introduce to you the app first, what it's all about, and then we'll do the explanation. All right. And in the meantime, how many of you guys have already seen the Timing 52 app that we have put on Genius? Can you just put timing there on the comment section so that we know that you've already noticed there's a new thing up there called Timing 52. And guess what? Today we're gonna show you how to use it. All right. And like I said, you'll probably be the only one who's able to have this right in the Malaysian market today. Right. I'm gonna reveal to you today, and I'm sure that this will be a eye opener for you guys. All right. So Alvin.
All right. Thanks, Benny. Welcome, everybody. Good evening for the Genius subscribers and MVIP subscribers. Welcome. I know we just spoke for 2.5 hours earlier at 3 p.m. I'm back again. Okay. Now let's get started. Now tonight, one of the things that we've been trying to answer, or we get asked quite a fair bit, is am I too late to go into the market right now, right? So if you look at market volumes over the last 2 months, has been really off the charts, right? You're really hitting historical trading value, right? I think the one of the peak they hit was about 10 billion on Bursa Malaysia. Now, so tonight actually we're gonna answer timing, and this is a bit of a refresh of what we had before on Genius. And I want to just use this to try and answer some of those questions. And Benny has worked very hard on it to show you the application of how we can use it. Tonight we're trying to show you an app or a different way of looking at stocks, other than just looking at the index for timing, right? I know a lot of us look at the index to say market up, market down, good or bad, right? But really what we are trying to do here is actually use a combination, because if we look at the index alone, the index is only 30 stocks, right? I won't even say top 30, but the 30 actually changes, right? Thank you. So the 30 stocks actually change over time. And can we actually, we got 935 listed stocks in Malaysia, right? Can we really only look at 30 as a benchmark? So one of the things that, if you guys have noticed, I think we quietly put it in there. I think on today's what day? Today's Saturday. Yep. I think it was Friday. I can't remember. Thursday or Friday. We launched Genius apps, and I mentioned to you guys that there will be more stuff that will be coming on. But this is a bit of an update. So if you look at, there's this link here called Timing 52. This is an app. So if you click on it, I just want to explain to you what are we actually trying to achieve here, right? And I guess if you're looking at it and you may not know how to use it, that's fine as well. Very quickly, actually, this is live. I just want to show you guys what this looks like. Now, so this whole histogram actually shows you all the listed companies on Bursa Malaysia today based on their 52-week range. Okay, so the guys in the red color here, right, are the guys that are trading at their 52-week high. Okay, and right on the left side here are guys that are trading at their 52-week low. Okay, so you can almost see a bell curve right now, and we've added some colors to give you guys an idea what it looks like. Again, if you don't have an account, set up a free account. You can go to, just send us a WhatsApp at 603-8408-2070, right? So if this is the first time that you're viewing this, just send us a WhatsApp at 603-8408-2070. You can have a look at this for 2 weeks for free, right? Now, if you look at this histogram, the whole idea this was developed was to check whether 30 stocks actually represented where the market was going. Okay, and if you look at these bar charts, these are actually the number of companies within this range. So for example, what do I mean by 0-10 or 10-20, 20-30, 30-40, 50-60, right? So I'm gonna give you guys an idea. So I'm gonna click on let's say this link here, right? So this link tells me the total, let's say 52-week low. So this is the half of 52-week low, this is the half of 52-week high. So if I just pick any random stock, so I'm just gonna click here. I'm just gonna show the first example or whatever. Let's sort it alphabetically, right? Okay, let's look at it very quickly, right? So this is 𝐻𝐴𝐸𝐴X, just because it started with A, right? Let me zoom in a little bit just to give you guys an idea what it means. Okay, so you guys can see. So this 𝐻𝐴𝐸𝐴X, based on the latest closing price, you realize it's actually 10 cents, right? It actually fell as low as 4 cents and the high was 25 cents. So today it sits somewhere in the middle, right? So which means straight away, if I look at this, what it does is tells me that this stock has fallen 69% from its 52-week high. All right. So you take 10 cents over 25 cents, you're gonna get 69%, right? No, you'll get actually 40%. But really, what it shows you here is the percentage drop from 52-week high, right? Now, of course, on the right hand side, we have all the FQA, and if you remember all the other apps, we also tell you where they sit in terms of cash holders and all. So like for example, if you look at number 10, advanced packaging, they are in packaging, label, and bottling, canning. So the 52-week low is 168. Right now it's trading at 190. So it's actually fallen 70%, close to 70% from its 52-week high, right? And we actually have this for all listed companies. So what we do is we actually mark them into ranges. And the whole idea here is to really look at the market itself. Is it actually where is the direction is hitting? Because just by using KLCI, you only look at 30. And we understand from Benny right now, based on the 52-week high and low for the index, I think it's down 30%, right?
Yeah.
Right, Benny? So which means all these guys here actually have fallen more than the index have fallen, right? So if you are a value investor and you're going long, perhaps these are the places where you want to pick up. If you think the market direction is on an upward trajectory, you may want to look at some of the stocks that have been already filtered out for you, or what I call possible laggards. Right. So this is really the whole market. And if you look at this donut here, this donut, basically the light blue actually shows you stocks, number of stocks, percentage of stocks trading closer to the 52-week low, and the dark blue one actually shows you percentage of stocks trading to a 52-week high, right? Later, Benny will show you the different scenarios, what it looks like. Just to give you an idea, because this is a market timer, so we use this as a timing 52. This is actually updated every day, so you can actually click and see exactly, like, let's say we look at let's say who is trading at 52-week high. No need to guess, right? So you can see you see probably a lot of glove stocks in here, right? That's my guess. So you can see there, Aventa, CarePlus, Hata, right? So these guys are trading at their 52-week high. And their 52-week high is actually 1350 and is right now trading at 1220, for example. So these guys are all trading at 52-week high, right? So if you're going long, that's what you want to do. Of course, if you want to short the market, you also can use this tool because it very quickly puts you in a position. So you want to look at the direction of where it is, and this will tell you by stock where they stand in that direction. All right. I'm happy to answer any questions here. Let me see. Okay, how about indicator on stocks trading close to 52 weeks high, and can it go higher? Yes. 52 weeks is actually a rolling number. So it's a question from Gerald. Anything on the right side can potentially go higher. Anything on the left side can potentially go lower because it's a rolling 52. So every day it gets updated. Today I look back 52 weeks. Today again I look back 52 weeks. So we actually have to rehash these numbers, which means that you actually get a chart every single day. Or you get a different histogram every single day. And I'm going to show you guys some application because right now we are almost at 50-50. Okay. So the question here is, how do we use this tool to supplement a lot of what we do? Because really, this will actually help you narrow down the stocks where they sit. And if we are in a rebound or a bull market, then you may potentially want to pick up some laggards on the left side, right? But of course, this is not financial recommendation. This is just a tool for you guys to use. All right, I hope that answers the question, right? Let me see if there's any other questions. Yeah. Nope. Okay, cool. Benny, you want to take it away?
Okay. Yeah, so Alvin had just shown you, I mean, this tool has already been in our system for quite some time. It's just now that we make it visually easy to see. But, after looking at this, one of the things that I've learned in technical analysis is also, there's this thing called the market breadth, right, in TA, to tell us whether, how many counters are near the high, how many counters are near the low, so that to give you a gauge of where the market is heading, all right? So we did a bit of research on this data, and surprisingly, we actually found the same pattern which is available in any other markets as well. All right, so hopefully that we are able to use this, like Alvin said, right? I mean, we have counters that are moving in an uptrend, but the question is this uptrend still sustainable or not? Right? Are we in the middle of a trend? Are we in somewhere in just the beginning of a trend, or are we at the end of the trend? That's the question that everybody's always asking, right? And of course, right now the market has really gone up. It's like going back to pre-COVID levels, right? And we're wondering, can the market be sustained or not, right? So of course, there are many ways to do forecasts and timing indicators. Like Alvin said, I mean, we've tried to develop a tool so that it's easier for us to apply and to use it. But again, investing, there are still risks involved, right? So we need to know how to use this tool together with other skills that we have learned, right? Because every tool is just basically indicate one particular part of an analysis, right? To get a big picture, you need to look at a whole full sets of skills on how to analyze and interpret financial data, right? It's the same thing like if you learn financial fundamental data, but without the context, you can't really make sense of the data. So if you put everything together, then it's going to be really, really powerful. All right, so I'm just going to share with you a little bit on the findings that we had, right? And to give you an idea, basically how you can actually use this to, once you have access to our equity tracker platform, I believe you do not need to ask anyone where the market is going to head anymore, because you yourself will probably have an indication of where the market is heading. All right, and that's what we want to achieve, all right. So as usual, first of all, I think we forgot to mention this, but whatever that is being discussed here are informational and educational purposes, right? It's not intended as any investment advice. Like I said, equity tracker, we are always trying to develop tools to make it easier for investors to apply the skills, all right, in investing. Okay, so for those who have not just joined us, if you are new to us, you can get our free access to equity tracker platform, and that's where you can also get the 52 timing indicator that Alvin just showed you, right? And later I'm going to show you how you can use it for determining where the market direction is. Please also, just WhatsApp us at 603-8408-2070 to get a 2 weeks free access. All right. So, I mean, if you're still new to us, it's not just about the timing indicator. There are a whole set of tools and applications that you can actually use to be a well-informed investor. All right. And if you love our copy time session, and please help us to share to your friends. And most importantly, you yourself like and follow our Facebook page so that you can get notifications whenever we go live. All right. So for now, of course, we are going live every single day at 8 p.m. Okay, and we're going to have quite a number of lineups for you guys in the next few months. Actually, it'll be very, very exciting. You'll be, for those who follow us, you're going to learn even more stuff. All right. If you're following on YouTube, please again subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can also get notification if you're viewing it from YouTube. All right. Okay, Arif. Can try to get access to our Equities Tracker platform for 2 weeks. All right. Now, so Alvin just mentioned we have a timing 52 indicator. I think we just put it there like 1 or 2 days ago, like Alvin mentioned, Thursday or Friday, right? So question is, for those who are still new, right? One of the ways, like Alvin just mentioned to you, is to try to find stocks that are not haven't moved yet, while all the markets are moving. That will create a situation where the price has not really gone to its value or has not followed its peers, right? So that will create opportunities. But what I want to share you right now is basically to also understand how to use it as a timing or a market indicator. All right. So I'm just going to explain shortly here. Now, is how you use the timing indicator is very important, right? First of all, we need to determine the trend. All right, because everything is relative in price. It may be low in price in the past 52 weeks, but maybe in the past 5 years or in the past 10 years, the price can still be high. All right, so it's very important to know where the range is against the bigger scheme of things. All right, the longer term trend. So like here, for example, if the market is already in a downtrend, right? If you look at the trend, it's going down, but the 1 year high, if let's say it's at 1,002 and the 1 year low is at 1,006, at 600 points, right? So the 52-week range is 600 to 1,002, all right? And let's say the index right now is at 1,100 points, okay, which is close to the high of the 52-week, right? But if you look at the current high, although it's a 52-week high, but because this is a downtrend, it may still be considered low in a longer term time frame. All right, so it's very important to know that particular trend. Later, I'll show you how to apply this also. So like, for example, if the market is in a sideways trend, it has been going sideways for the past few years, all right, and this year still continue to be a sideways, then it's easy to determine whether it is over, or whether the price is near the low or whether it's near the high. All right, and another situation is when previously the market was really in an uptrend. Like, for example, since 2008 up to 2014, it was going up, right, every year. Only after 2014, the market started to pull back. So as the price goes up higher, of course, in that 1 year range, the price can be high. But if you look at the bigger scheme of things, it may be low or it may be high. All right. So we can't just use that 52-week high and low as a sole indicator to determine whether the market is really at the bottom or at the top. Okay, because later I'll show you, right, that Alvin has also mentioned earlier that we can't just use the index as a benchmark alone. All right, because when we did the study, you'll see that we can get misled by the index itself, and that's the reason why by having this, all the counters that are moving towards the 52-week high or towards the 52-week low will provide an indication of a broader market. All right. And of course, if the index keeps on rising and is supported by rising prices, then that's fantastic, right? That means all the counters are going up together with the index. That means the market is really bullish. But there are times when the index goes up, all right? But the number of counters actually coming down is more. Okay. Weird, isn't it? Because the index goes up, we are thinking that the market should be bullish and all the stock prices should go up. But there are times when majority of the share prices are actually going down while the index is going up. Why? Because remember, the index is only made up of 30 counters, right? And out of the 900 over companies in Bursa Malaysia, so it's only 30 counters. So sometimes that can be misleading, right? So if I want to control the market, means I only have to control the 30 stocks, right? Then to show you that the index on the market is doing very well, but in fact, the rest of the other counters may not be performing very well. All right. So what I want to share with you is basically this, right? So this is the Bible for that trend, lah, right? So you need to know the pattern. Okay, okay. I'm not sure whether I have enough time to explain in this in the next 10 minutes, but this is, if you're still very new into investing and trading, this may be a lot. But you know what? After this, you are able to download the slides, right? And the same WhatsApp number that we just shared to you. Okay. So what's going to happen is this, right? So first of all, if the market is in an uptrend, right? It goes up higher, or it doesn't go up in a straight manner. It goes up, it pulls back, it goes up, and pulls back, right? But generally, it's going up. Okay. So now the bell curve or the small charts that you see at the bottom, right? These are basically the timing 52 that Alvin has just showed you. All right. So that means if you look at the left hand side, right, when there's a lot of green, that means there are more stocks that are near the 52-week low. All right. If on the red the red colored side, that's where we have stocks which are mostly near the 52-week high, right? So if you look at
Benny, I think we lost you.
yeah,
Yeah, okay now.
okay, am I okay now?
Yeah, you good.
All right,
Just lost
awesome.
you. Okay.
Okay, so there are two scenarios where a market can start off with, right? So of course, when the market is at the bottom, at the low, you will have more counters being near the 52-week low, right? So more counters on the green side. Okay, so if you look at this part over here, for example, let me put a pointer here. So you look at this first chart here, for example. This is where you see most of the counters at a 52-week low, right? That means markets are down. But as the trend goes up, you see that there's a shift in that curve, right? There are more stocks moving to the right-hand side because more stocks are going up, right, towards the 52-week high. So as the market keeps on increasing, you see the third one here. Now most of the stocks are at the middle. All right. I think Alvin just shown you how this is where our chart looks like currently, right?
Yeah.
And then the market will continue to go up. Okay, and of course, now two things can happen. Okay, now we call this. Oops, sorry, where was I? So if the market continues to go up, okay, with the curve shifting to the right hand side, that means more counters are going up and the market is going up. That means, remember, this chart that we look at here is basically based on the KLCI, because that's the only barometer that we normally use, right? The KLCI. So if all the counters are moving to the direction the KLCI is moving, then this trend is sustainable, right? It can move further. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the one at the bottom later, because I need to explain to you what is a divergence. All right. So now another scenario is this. Okay, this is almost the same with the first chart. Okay, it started with the very high on the left hand side. That means a lot of stocks near the 52-week low. And then as the market progresses, you see that it shifted to the right, and it also shifted to the right. Okay, and then as it goes higher, it continues to shift on the right, but it's still not at the peak. Okay, at the peak means you see there's, this chart here is really skewed to the right. Right, there's very little in the left and very little in the middle. Most of them are the right. Now this is a situation where the market is already overbought, right? Meaning that most of the counters are already high, and if I'm an investor or even a trader, I really got no other choice. Don't know what counter to buy anymore, because all of them are mostly high, right? So there's no other way where the market needs to go into a correction. All right. So this is natural. Now this is where this is where the divergence comes in, right? Where if you look at the pattern, it'll be a little bit different. Okay, so we started off again on the left hand side, okay, where most of the counters at a 52-week low, and then it moves higher as same progression earlier, and it goes to the middle side, right? It's still same, but you know what? Now this is where the divergence happen. Okay, and it can happen, right? Because we have done some back tests, and we look at the results. So instead of continue to go right, what happened here is that shift, that number of counters is moving back to the left. That means more counters are going back to the 52-week low. It's going down. Why is that? But if you look at the chart, the index is still going up, right? The index is still going up, but the number of shares is going down. Okay, and as the market climbed even higher, you can see right now that most of the counters are back at the 52-week low. Now, so this tells us something, isn't it? I mean, this tells us that, hey, how come the index is going up, but most of these counters are going down, right? So if we have the situation, we call it a divergence. Although the market is overbought, but it's diverging because the whole market doesn't follow that 30 counter. Remember, the index is based on the 30 counters. And when we have all these counters there, we will know that that particular trend will not be able to be sustained. All right. So eventually it will come and pull back down as well. So in an uptrend, the market can go down aggressively when we have what we call an overbought situation. That means all of the stocks are at 52-week high, too high already. And there's no stocks in between anymore to play around. All right. The second scenario when the market can pull back is when there's a divergence, right? This is the opposite of market being really overbought. Now this is being oversold, right? But because it's being manipulated by the 30 counters where it looks like the market is doing well, but in reality, most of the counters are still going down. So that particular trend cannot be sustained, and hence it pulls back. All right. So this is an uptrend situation, right? Now we also have in a downtrend situation. So remember, the trend, all right, has to be supported by the number of stocks that's being traded in the same direction, right? Because if it doesn't move into the same direction, when we have a divergence, we know that that trend is not sustainable. Okay. So now let's say we start here again, right? I'm just going to look at the first line. I don't going to go to the second one, but you will have an idea later on. All right. So here is where remember, stocks are at the low, right? Stocks are at the low, 52-week low, but the market is at a high. So we start from the divergence part. All right. Or it can also start, if you look at the one at the bottom, or you can also start where the prices are at the top. That means most of the counters are at the 52 weeks high. Right, so it can either stop from the 52 weeks low or 52 weeks high, depending on where it ended. Right. Later, I'll show you the examples of the market for the past few years, and then you have an idea. All right. So from here, basically, it shifts. Right. Why? Because now you have more selling. Right, and then the curve will shift to the middle a bit, but it will never shift to the right because this is a downtrend. Right. Most of the counters are still trading at a low. But because it's going sideways and people are still buying, right? Because price is cheap, right? When it's going down, there are still people buying. So the curve shift a little bit only to the buying side, right? But the most it go in a downtrend is probably where all of them is at the middle, okay? And then what happens if it continues to go down? Then it will shift back to the left because now most of these counters, maybe they bought earlier and the trend is still going down. They sell back again, and then all the counters will go back to the left-hand side, which is near the 52-week low. It means they're going down again. Right. So as long as the market has not peaked at the left, right, where most of the counters are on the left, that means most of the counters are very, very low. Right. And we see this situation in March this year. Right. I'll show you the chart in a short while. And you can see the trend exactly what we have shown here. All right. So same thing at the bottom. Okay, this is where we expect the market to turn upwards, right? Okay, so let's say we start from the top again, where most of the counters are at the oversold, right, or 52-week low, right? And then as the market goes down, people start buying. You can see a little small shift, right? Same thing, lah. Okay, and then we see another shift, maybe maximum also until the middle, until it goes back down. Then suddenly you see again, how come the market goes down, but all the counters are going up? Okay. So this is the oversold divergence. Is the opposite of the overbought divergence. It means that the KLCI is going down, right? But most of the counters are actually starting to come up. Weird, isn't it? Right? Remember, again, the index is 30 counters only. So the 30 counters may be going down, but we do not see that the stocks are actually all moving up. Okay. So when you see more stocks are moving up, we'll know that the downtrend will not be sustainable, right? So we're going to expect the market to rebound. All right. Oversold simply this, right? This is a natural progression. So it starts from the bottom and then it just shift, right? Shift. As the market goes down, there are more stocks going back to the 52-week low, 52-week low, 52-week low, until a time when you get a very strong 52-week low numbers, right? Where all the stocks are focused on the 52-week low. That means you know that the market has already, now all of the shares are already at a 52-week low, right? So this will not be sustainable as well, because people will start collecting, right? There's nothing to sell anymore. Okay, and you do not want to sell a stock that has already gone down so much and so low, right? You're going to lose a lot of money. So people will stop selling, yeah, and the buying will start to come in, and the price will start to rebound again. Okay, so there are basically 6 possible scenarios. In fact, you can divide them into uptrend or downtrend. So every trend, there are 3 possible scenarios. In fact, there are only 2 lah. All right, whether the trend can continue or whether the trend is going to turn downwards. All right, so I'm going to show you right now the application of it. Right now, we all remember on the 16th of April, just in 2018, okay, before the market pulled back quite aggressively from the historical high, right? Now that time you see that the stocks are at the 52-week low, right? The index is at historical high, right? But the stocks, most of the stocks are trading at the 52-week low. And in fact, if you look at this, is really most of them are near the 52-week low. So you'll be wondering again, why, right? How come the index is going up, but there are more stocks are going down? So if you still remember my presentation earlier, this is where we get actually an overbought divergence, right? Prices are high, but there's a divergence because the stocks are not supporting that index movement. So that movement may be a little bit artificial because it's only based on 30 counters, all right? So since then, the price pulled back and gone down, okay? I want to show you the pattern, the more recent pattern, right? Like for example, this is pre-COVID, right? This is the more recent one, okay? The one that I circled there is during the data that we show here is during that period, right? In the circle period, that's on somewhere in the beginning of 2020. Now, so if you go into our 52-week timing, all right, this is what you're going to see on the 7th of January 2020. Right, if you change to 8, you can see the progression, the change lah. But so I want to match this pattern into the earlier patterns that I look at on the charts, right? So I want to see where is it currently. Okay, so it looks something like this. Okay, on the chart. So I need to know where is it, right? So there are a few possible scenarios because this is a downtrend. Remember, the market is in a downtrend. So I'm not going to look at the uptrend scenarios lah. I want to look at the downtrend scenarios. Okay, so one of the scenario is this. Okay, how do I remove this thing? This thing keep blocking me.
Yeah, so I also don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice move. So you see that you see that red arrow there. That is where it possibly can be, right? In a downtrend, and then is that pattern that we see, right? Or it could also be this part here, right? So it's either one, right? So time will reveal itself where we are exactly. All right. So if I move on, so remember this was January 2020, right? So if you look at this, okay, the next step that you expect will be the bell curve, the one that focus in the middle, right? That's what we can expect. Or remember, it can also be a situation where the prices can be totally overbought. That means all the prices are near the high, right? That means there's a divergence, right? You see, how come index come down, but most of the counters are moving up? Okay, so it can be either these 2 situations. So if you open again this indicator next month in February, you get this, right? You actually get a bell curve. So if you see, right, earlier one, it looks like this. Okay, from the right-hand side, it shifted to the middle, right? It shifted to the middle. So it's actually the second one down here. Again, I have to wait for this to go off, right? From there to the bell curve, all right? So that I will know that this movement downwards is not over yet. All right, January is not over. February is just in the middle. All right, that means it's not over yet. Yeah, how do I know when it's over? So the end game is the right hand side, right? When you have a lot of counters on the left, that means all of counters has been sold crazily. Okay, that's the main destination where we're going to expect the price to turn upwards. So moving forward 1 month, this is what we see, right? So the curve actually moved to the left-hand side, where most of the counters are now at the 52-week low. There's nothing much in between and at the high, right? Most of them are at the low. So this tells us what? The market is oversold, is really, really low. This is the time we're probably going to expect a rebound.
And I think, Benny, can I add on the pie chart as well? It's actually showing 80% of stocks in March were already selling at 52-week low range. That means on the left side of it, if you look at the chart, if you look at the pie chart, it's light blue, mostly light blue lah.
Yeah, it's the 82%, right?
Yeah, 82%. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, most of it's really skewed to the 52-week low lah, right?
Yep. Yes.
So the good. Yeah, so it's actually quite amazing, you know, if you use this, right, and you monitor this on a daily basis, you can actually see the shift on the bell curve, right? Like what I've seen here, right? Okay, so we'll take a look at the current one. So we all know that March was the low, so it's there, right? We started again on where most of the counters are at the left hand side, which are the 52-week low. Now 1 month later, again, can you see the shift, right? So it's now moving to that second part, right, which is if you look at the chart again, I didn't put the chart here, but you can see there's a movement, right, from the left now moving to the right, and then today in June it is almost like a bell curve. So can you see, if I just look at this, if I just show you this and just simulate this or do an animation, you can see the thing actually move from month to month, right? Like from here and then go here and then go here, right? There's a shift. So now we are here, right? So question is, in this curve, where are we at? Right? Are we really overbought? Right? I mean, all the counters are already achieving a 52-week high where it's already, there's no opportunity anymore, right? So if you look at this, there's actually a lot more opportunities because the green is still quite a lot. The yellow part is still a lot, right? That means these counters here haven't gone to the 52-week high yet. Okay, although we see the red one, they are like 49, 78 counters. If you access to our equity tracker platform, you're able to see it now, all right? But in total, there are still a lot of room for other counters to move as well, if this were to be a very bullish trend, right? So now is June. If you, let's say, monitor it, maybe 2 weeks later, you can see the shift again, all right? So now, how do I know that this bullish trend is going to continue? For right now, it's still going to continue, right? So that means there's still chance for the market to go up higher, okay? Because all the counters are basically supporting the index, right? Now, the next thing is maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, you want to see where the shift is, whether it's still moving to the right or whether it's gone back to the left. So if it goes to the right, means there is still a chance for the market to go higher because a lot of counters now are now going towards the 52-week high. But if the curve goes back to the left, then that's where we have a divergence. That means we have to be careful. Although index goes up, but more counters are being in a selling pressure now. All right. So if we know how to look at this and just try this, like trying to solve that puzzle, right? You see the shape currently, and then again you can download the slides after this, and then you find out where we are currently. All right. So that's basically one way we can actually find out whether the market is now, although it's really gone up quite high, right? It's almost back to the pre-COVID high. But the question is, can it go higher? Now, based on the current info, yes, it still can go higher. Again, that's personal opinion, right? Cannot be taken as an investment advice, right? But we are basically making decisions based on that historical performance or the pattern that we see, right? Because we don't see it being really oversold, where most of the counters are at a 52-week high. Remember, it can happen both ways, right? It's either most of the counters move to a 52-week high, or all the counters move back to the 52-week low. But now we are still in the middle, so there are no signs yet, right? Based on this indication. Okay, I know that's quite a long thing, but I hope that so if you look at current situation, this is where we expect, right? The bell curve there. If you look from the left, it was in March, and then in April was the second one, and then now we are in the third one. Okay, so it either can move to the right, showing that the trend is still very strong, or it can move back to the left where it shows a divergence. All right, so it's during the divergence that we have to be very careful. All right.
Yeah, cool. We got a few questions here. I hope you guys could absorb all that in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the recording will be on later, so if you still don't understand, go back to the recording.
Yeah. Actually, we have a couple of questions here. Maybe I'll try and answer some of them. I think Gerald was asking whether are there indicators that will go higher. I think just purely looking at this tool itself, it won't give you an indicator whether it'll go higher. But I think what we're trying to demonstrate to you is, apart from just looking at the index, right? to gauge sentiment, right? If you're looking at timing, this gives you a very good supporting base, because we're looking at the trend of or the whole market. Where is it actually moving, right? So actually you can use it in both, and I think in both cases, Benny have showed you, even at the peak of the index, a lot of stocks were actually the opposite. So stocks were not showing what the index was showing, right? Which subsequently, when saw a decline in the index as well. So actually, this was created by our founder, which has now been modified. The whole idea why he wanted to build this was that he realized that just looking at 30 stocks, back then it was 100 stocks, and then he looked at the 100 stocks and he said, look, then he calculated the weightage to say that actually 30 stocks represented 80% of the index change. Then he went one step further and said, can we look at the whole market to get a more unbiased view, right? And this is really the unbiased view. What we've actually done is done a refresh and relaunch of this app, and to couple with some of the timing indicators that you guys can also use, right? It sort of created a little bit of a heat map to show you exactly where we're at. And of course, I think one of the things that we want to do is actually have these numbers historically available for you guys as well, so you actually can see how the mood changes over time, right? And because this is they captured daily, and it's actually a moving number as well. Yeah. So it doesn't forecast any prices, but it is really to give you a better feel of where the market is right now. So I think what we're trying to say is, if the index is all-time high, doesn't mean that the market is all-time high, right? There are still opportunities. Just because the index is all-time low doesn't also mean that the market is all-time low as well. All right. And if this bullish trend continues, actually what this tool will actually show you is where do you actually look for laggards. That means those guys that have been lagging and haven't moved yet, right? And that's really what we're trying to do. So the historical part, we do want to build it and get that to you eventually. But this is really the first level, first phase first, so that you can watch the animation over time. Yeah.
So ultimately, we want to have this on a chart where you just point your mouse and then you can actually see historically how that curve changes, right? We'll try to do that. No promises, but again, we'll try to. So that's easier for us to look at the trend or the movement, right? That would be cool.
Yeah. So if you got any programmers listening or friends that are looking for a job, let us know. Contact me or contact Hello, right? We also want to move the pace along on the development of the platform as well, quicker. Chris, there's a question for you, Chris. From Chris here. Is it possible to add some other indicators in the US market like Shillers or VIX for our market? Do you think it's relevant?
There are some data which is not available here. Of course, when we look at this data, it depends on what data we can get. So right now, because Equities Tracker has always been a platform for value investing, right? And most of these tools you're asking here are all mostly statistical price chart, price analysis tools. So we are slowly trying to develop. But I know like a lot of people look at a VIX indicator, right? It's a volatility index indicator to tell you whether the market is peak or not. But you know what? If we have the data, we'll try to put it in, and if it's we will do our research first before we put it in, right? See whether it works for our market or not. But just stay tuned with us. Continue to be with us. I'm sure that we're going to have more tools coming to you, right? Like suddenly this Friday, this Thursday, you get a 52-week timing tool, right? You'll never know, tomorrow you get a new one.
Yeah. So just don't forget to support us and subscribe, okay?
Yeah.
For very, very low introductory price of 240 ringgit a month, okay? Before SST.
Yeah, some of these tools, even like this alone, it costs a lot really. Like if you subscribe in the US, some of the tools can cost up to $400-500 a month. Yeah.
Benny, there's one question from Lisa. Do you see this for other markets as well? When you do timing, do you see this applicable for other markets too?
Yeah, I was actually looking for this for a long time. And once I know that Equities Tracker has this, then definitely we can actually work on it. Because I've seen this in other markets, but I do not trade foreign markets. So that's why I don't use these indicators. And you know what? Now that we have it in Equities Tracker, fantastic, right? I can actually have this data. But yes, you can actually use it in other markets, right? If you have that platform that gives you that data. But like I said, to get this kind of information, this kind of tools, it's not going to be cheap. Like you won't find it in investing.com and or TradingView, and you really have to subscribe, and that's going to cost quite a lot of money, right? But this is nothing new, right? And you can find it in more some of the more advanced tools in the US. Yep.
Benny, there's another question from Faisal Hashim. Does this indicator trend, is it applicable for the 𝐸MAS index?
Yeah, you can use the index, and because it's also an indicator, and 𝐸MAS is 200 counters, isn't it? Right. So you can actually use this. The reason why we have this is because we wanna see whether the market is really being supported by all the counters, right? And today we already seen how it can actually debunk some of the KLCI index movement itself, right? So it may happen in 𝐸MAS because 200 counters, and you know what? Even though it's 200 counters, but you find out that 30 counters itself holds a very high weightage to the 𝐸MAS index. Okay, that's the problem.
And I think also for the index, very recently the run up, we got two very big glove counters in there, which is Hata and also Top Glove, that somewhat contributed to the rise as well over the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, so that's the thing, because if in order for the market to really be bullish and be supported, right, all industries should benefit from the movement, right? It cannot be only certain sectors, because it will not be sustainable one, right? If only glove companies makes money, then what about the rest? Okay, so the whole economy cannot move also, lah, right? So that was the whole idea about, right? That's why we need this kind of data. Okay, can we recall past? Yeah.
There's one question from Mailing. Can we track the index trend through the app? After we developed this and we were playing around with it, we realized actually what we are missing is the index portion. So we will also include it as an upgrade for the app. So do stay tuned. And also to answer Roslan, can we see the timing on certain dates every month? Yes. So we will work on that so that you can actually play a video on. No, okay, I won't say play a video. Wait first. You can actually start tracking what it is. Benny, I think your mic is maybe low. Yeah. I think it's a lot of static coming through.
On Wi-Fi now.
Yeah, now perfect. Now it's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Can we recall past histograms? Yeah, I mean, like Alvin mentioned, right? This is Kinte is asking the same question. So we'll try to put it in so that at least
it's a lot of
okay. Let me try.
Yeah. Could be maybe low on battery or something. While you get that set up, let me try and see. Okay, Harry, thank you for that. For that comment. ET, can you please shout out to us when there is a divergence? Why not? Right? Let us. We're gonna build apps upon apps, basically, right?
Yeah. Are you able to hear now?
Yes, can.
All right, good. Yeah. I mean, we try to make as convenient as possible. Just bear with us, please. Continue to support us, and we'll definitely be able to get more tools for you guys.
Yeah. Let me see if I can answer some questions as well. Hongji is saying, can it be individualized for each stock, the progression of each stock since IPO and their new trend price move in relation to time axis? I mean, we have to test it out. I can't guarantee that you might get anything from it. You may be better off maybe just purely looking at the price chart instead. Because really, when we show you this histogram, we're looking at 940 over price charts summarized into one page. But if you're going down into the individual stock, it may be better. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Vijian said SEG appears to be in 2 histogram charts. Okay, cool. Let us check if there are bugs. Please let us know. Okay, have possible for copy trading feature. I better stop making these promises. Otherwise, taking a hold for myself, right?
Copy trading requires some regulation also lah. That's one more aspect you have to look at if you want to do.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one question here from ET Online Campus. Okay, Singh mentioned that as presented, 82 counters were already in their 52-week lows only 3 months ago. Yes, correct, which is March, right? Almost 3 months ago. Does this mean this 3 month? Does this 3 month period? So Benny, do you think this 3 month period is it a good indicator?
Yeah, we can already see the trend. Remember, I showed you the chart earlier, right? It begins on the left-hand side, and then in April it moves slightly to the right, and right now most of it in the middle. So that means that trend is not over yet, right? Because we'll be expecting. So if you look at the chart, even right now on the screen, right, you'll be expecting it to go up. The red arrow basically shows where we are now, right? So that means there is still room for the price to go up some more.
Okay.
So we get a cycle. Okay. Any chance to link corporate exercise alert to stocks?
I said mine once body cannot move fast enough.
Yeah. There's another question on corporate exercise alert to stocks. Do we have that?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We have to. We'll link it to the portfolios. Actually, that's the idea.
Right. Yeah. I mean, guys, thank you very much for your feedback. Whatever tools that is able to help you and help us, just shout it out so that we can take this into account. Right. And that's the good thing about having one another, right? Because we may not be able to see certain things, right? We may have blind spots, and you guys may be able to fill that blind spots. Okay. Well, I think there are a lot of requests on features since we bring this up.
We also got requests from programmers.
Yeah.
There's one question here from 𝐈𝐧𝐯𝐶𝐞𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐫. What about the duration of each 52-week position? How long does it take for the graph to shift to the next level?
Yeah, it could be very short term, because we are looking at the location of the prices against the 52-week low and 52-week high, right? For example, in 1 week, suddenly you see the whole, all the shares in Bursa Malaysia are being bought, let's say, right, in 1 week's time. So you'll see that most of these now are shifting towards the 52-week high. So it can happen in days, it can happen in weeks, it can happen in months. So that's why Alvin said this is updated on a daily basis. So you can actually see it's like a moving chart, right? It's like a moving bell curve. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we can get that feature where you can actually sort of see how the movement moves. Hopefully on a daily basis.
All right.
There's a question here from Chan from YouTube. He's saying when a company allocates ESOPs or bonds, will it dilute the share price? Yes, when you issue in ESOPs, of course, depending on the amount or the corporate exercise, as a bond will not dilute shares, but unless it's a irredeemable convertible unsecured loan stock, right? I know it's not a bond, but it's like a loan stock. Then yes, it will dilute, right? So what we do in the 52 weeks is that we will actually adjust for corporate actions as well, so that it matches exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay, there's a question here from Lisa. Have you noticed any seasonality within the year in the past? I mean for Bursa. I read an article which says that US market are typically more bullish between January and June, whereas July, September are typically more bearish. Now, I think we had one copy time session that talks about sell in May and go away, right? When we try to develop tools, we try to do a research first and see whether whether we get a good probability of getting things right. Right. So when we did on the sell in May and go away, it's more like a 50-50 chance, right? Whether it's going to happen. So it doesn't help us at all, right? So when you talk about this as well, yeah, you may see a pattern maybe 1 or 2 years, but you really need to look at a longer term and see whether that pattern really occur more frequently than not. All right, if it's like a 60% or 70% chance, it's quite good already, right? If it's 80% chance that is most of the time is right, then it's fantastic, right? But if it's only 50-50 or even lesser, then forget about it, right? So personally, I've done and tried to find, because everybody is asking what's the best month or what's the best quarter to buy and sell. I can't find any good months or any good quarters where you get good sell or buy. It is quite random at the moment. It is still less than 50%. So for that's for Bursa Malaysia. I do not know about other markets. All right. So it's very hard to find seasonality, except for certain sectors. All right. For example, for me, it's palm oil, because I monitor palm oil very closely. So you will know palm oil is almost quite predictable, right? Because of the production and demand and supply. So that one is easier, but as a general market, it's a little bit quite difficult. That's for me.
Benny, there are 2 questions on YouTube here. So one is from Alex first. When golden crossing happens, 50 MA crosses 200 MA, how bullish is this indicator? How much more can it rally?
50, oh, wow. Well, this is a little bit technical already. Now, personally, I don't use the crossovers because it is quite lagging. When the moment the 50-day cross above the 200-day moving average, the counter probably has moved up 30 to 40% already, right? So it's a little bit too late. So for it to go up some more, really things in the market today is markets are more volatile today as it used to be 20 years ago, right? So when you use the indicators like crossovers 20 years ago to cross down, you can still make good money because the market performs slower, right? People make decisions the following day, but today people make decisions on the fly, right? You have a mobile phone, you just click buy or sell, right? So it's much faster right now. So markets move faster, trends tend to be shorter. So it's very difficult to apply a moving average, because in our ET online campus, we use moving average, but we use it differently. So I'm not sure whether you have attended the ET online campus, but if you're going to use the moving average, that's the one that I taught in the ET online campus. That was the best method to actually use moving average, or else it's going to be a very lagging indicator. All right.
Yeah. Okay. One question here. Have you tried Ichimoku Cloud Indicator?
But today so technical. You should ask me on Monday lah. Today we are focusing on this lah.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I used to write in the Financial Age Daily, which has really closed down now. So you don't see my article there anymore. So you only now can see my analysis on our Investors Copy Time, right? It's no more on Financial Age Daily. So normally we'll do an update on Sundays or on Mondays when we have our Technical Monday. But yes, I do put Ichimoku chart there because it's very simple indicator to look at. But it's just an indicator to tell us a trend, right? Above the cloud means uptrend, below the cloud is downtrend. That's all, right? But when it comes to timing, then that indicator is not really good for timing. But it's just basically to tell you whether the trend is up or down. That's all, right?
Okay, I think we have answered most of the questions here. I think we're getting some technical questions here. Can CPO go higher than 2004?
Monday.
Day after tomorrow. Monday, anyway, it's a public holiday on Monday, so it's a long weekend. So Benny can answer you guys some of these questions. Yeah. Whether or not we can put notifications on buy and sell stocks, our Genius portfolio, we technically we can, but we won't be able to do that because it may constitute as a buy or sell call. So we'll be careful with that. So we won't. Well, technically we can, but we can't. So Benjamin, I hope I answer your question. Yeah. So all you do is just log in every day. It only takes you 30 seconds, right? So do that. Make it as part of your routine. End of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also view this on your mobile phone, right? And just access our ET platform. Is
Yeah.
anywhere. Uh,
Okay, Joe Liao, right? So, does the ET, does the ET platform provide theme or topic of investment trend like property, semicon? Actually, this is a good question, Benny. You want to just run through the theme, because I think this also kind of captures it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So let me see if I can share this. Am I still sharing the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So if we go live and actually we can show you how this is quite useful thematically as well. So if you
Yeah.
look at this, yep.
So yeah. So what happens is this, right? One of the things that we're gonna add in. Let me go back to the screen first. Oops, being locked out. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Once you go to the screen, what we're going to add is actually our index, our KLCI, and see where our location of KLCI is against the rest of the other counters, right? Okay. Let me just go in. All right. So how do we know which team are currently or which sector? Because in Equities Tracker, we actually divided them into even sub-sectors, right? For example, when you look at a sector index or a sector, you see it's consumer, right? But there's so many different sub-sectors in consumer, right? So we actually divided them. So what happens is this right now, if I look at a KLCI, we are currently at about 70%, 71%, right? That means it's 29% from the low, from the 52-week high, right? So that means it's somewhere around here, right? That's where our index is. That means that all the stocks that's performing, better than index, that means they are basically leading, right? They are the focus currently in our markets. So how do I know which sector being focused? For example, let's take a look at this. Between the 90 and 100, that means these are counters which are near the 52-week high, right? They are really leading the market, whereas a lot of counters are still at the bottom, right? So I click 49 here. So what you can do is, you see, we have this thing called a subsector column, right? So I can sort this, okay, and you can see, for example, you have a few consumer electric appliances. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That one that's like a 1 or 2, maybe you don't want to look at that, but you want to see a group of same subsectors that are moving, right? So we can see as consumer electronic products and appliances that they are, although we may not know, right, because these are consumer products and their prices are actually going up and they are at a 52-week high. So if I don't have this data, I can't really see, right? Maybe because people are ordering online also, demand increase also, I don't know, right? But their share prices have been rising. So you can see there are, like, for example, oil palm, there are 3 counters that are leading the palm oil prices right now, right? There are plastic not many. Stock broking and related companies, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are near its 52-week high. So if I want to find the second movers, right? So I know that stock broking here is moving, but there are stock broking companies that has not moved. So I can go back to maybe the 60% or 40% or the lower ones and find which companies that hasn't moved. But of course, there are reasons why it hasn't moved. Maybe their financials are not that good. So this is where we also, once we have identified the company that hasn't moved, we use it with the fundamentals, or maybe we look at the price chart to see whether there is still a chance for this company to just follow back or to just catch up with its peers. All right. So this is one way you can actually even look at which sector are being played right now or leading the market.
Yeah.
All right. That explains.
Yeah. I guess once we build this, I guess there are other aspects that we can also link it to. We could put it as part of the stock search when you look for it, or when you go under the screeners, when it does show, it sort of gives you that timing on where the industry is as well. That is definitely possible as well. Which color scheme they're in, which color they're in.
All right.
Yep, I think that's it. I think that's it for tonight. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it was quite fast, isn't it? All right.
Yeah. Does ET have an app for mobile phone? Not yet. That's desktop and iPad first. All right.
Yeah.
Desktop and iPad.
Okay, so for guys, if for those who want to know about Genius package. I'm sure some of you already been subscribing. For those who subscribe to the Genius package, thank you very much for supporting us. And like we said, we will continue to also provide some other tools later on, and hopefully that you are able to use it. Number one, most importantly, is to be a well-informed investor, right? Based on real data, facts, and not just on rumors or tips and so on, which basically don't work in the long run. All right. So I'm just going to give me about 5 minutes to wrap this up, because I've just made a few announcements of what we actually have to support you guys in your investment journey. All right. So I'm just going to share my slides again. Okay. First of all, we have this thing called an investor studio, which we just created recently. This is where we bring CEOs and CFOs of companies who wants to give an update of the companies. And normally they will only give this to, or they only invite investment analysts. All right. Now, so since the CMO things have changed, right, they also want to engage investors. So we actually created this platform where they can actually engage investors or potential investors, right, directly from the CEOs as well, right? So, but this is not going to be on copy time session like what we have. Anybody can come in. You have to register first, and registration is free. Okay, so once you registered, and whenever we have a CEO or CFO who wants to make some announcements, only to this closed group at first, right? Because this is not going to go out on public yet, right? And normally this is only for analysts. So whenever they come in, we will send an email, or we will notify you this they're going to come in on this day, and you can join that session, right? So it's a closed session by invitation only. So please register at this link, all right? Or you can also click on the link that we tag in our comment section, right? It's also over there. So please make sure you register. For now, it is free, right? But if the numbers get bigger, we may start to put a cap. So please register as soon as possible, because once once we have enough numbers, then we're probably going to close it and see what we're going to do next. All right. So for now, it's still open. We had just one briefing earlier by Notion VTech Executive Chairman on Thursday, on the 4th of June at 6:30 p.m. So this session is at 6:30 p.m. Normally held after the market close, all right. And normally they will do this kind of briefing after they have released their financial reports. So the good thing is, you see the financial reports, it gives you maybe 1 or 2 days before you can go into the session and ask them questions. All right. And like I said, this is normally for investors like us, we can only go to AGMs, right? And now you have the analyst privilege to actually beat them immediately after they release a financial report. All right. Number 2, we have for those who want to learn about investing using value investing principles and also price chart analysis, and basically learning how to use the tools that we have, right, on our Equities Tracker platform. You can join us on our ET online campus. Currently, we are running this on a charity drive. That means it's going to be for free. Okay, you're going to have about 40 over learning videos, including a weekly mentorship by myself and Alvin. So you get actually 2 hours every week, 1 hour from Alvin and 1 hour from myself. This is where you can ask questions. So we'll be there every week. All right. So all you need to do is to make a 100 ringgit donation to any charity, and you can attend our ET online campus for absolutely free. All right. So if you're interested, make a minimum donation of 100 ringgit, and once you make the 100 ringgit donation, you can also bring in 3 friends to join the ET online campus, to join our e-learning platform. All right. So if you're interested, just log on to charity.equitiestracker.com to register. All right.
And it's only 3 more days to go, right, until MCO ends, because we're going to run this for MCO.
Yeah, so the charity is going to only be run, because we promise that, as long as we are still under lockdown and MCO, we're going to provide this for free. But after this, we do not know yet, right? We may start charging. So make sure you share as many as your friends as possible. Like Alvin said, we only have another 3 more days, right? Tomorrow or PM, we're going to make an announcement.
I don't know. I lose count already how many times we extended MCO, right?
All right, so yeah, go there. So we have already raised about 100. I mean, not we raised, but you guys who have joined us have already raised about 158,000. This was data 2 days ago, right? I think about 158 plus thousand out of the 250,000 that we targeted. So we are almost there. And this is a good time if you want to learn how to invest and be a well-informed investor, and at the same time do charity. This will be a good platform. And if you know any of your friends who are interested to learn and also do charity, please share this to your friends. All right. Okay, now last one. Where am I now? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. To
Yeah. So
download it.
we have. Yeah. So we actually launched our. There's a package called a Genius package, right? You can actually WhatsApp us at 603-840-82070 to get a 2 weeks free access to find out what it's all about, right? Including the 52-week timing indicator is also part of this, right? There are a lot of other things. There are fundamental data, there are filters for fundamentals, there are technical filters, and there all these tools are there to basically help you to make investment decisions. All right. So just WhatsApp us. If for any, if you need anything or you need any assistance from us, you can WhatsApp us at 603-840-82070. All right.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Alvin?
No, that's it. That's it. So if you guys want to download the slides, send us a WhatsApp there as well.
Yes.
Open a free account. It's all there. All right, all through WhatsApp.
All right. Awesome. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow where we have Ask Anything Sunday. So if you have any questions, if you don't answer today, tomorrow will be the platform. All right. So join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. And for technical questions, you may want to reserve it for Monday. Don't ask too many technical questions on Sunday as well, right? Because we have a special dedicated session for technicals or price chart analysis on Monday. All right.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you very much for joining us. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. and have a good evening.
Thank you.